And welcome to Silverstone for the first ever qualifying session, or at least competitive session in these cars. Drivers will have one lap to try and aim for pole. Regular track limit, so it will be interesting to see who pushes it to the absolute limit. I'm very excited to see who comes out on top here. D numbers looked very strong in pre-season testing, for those of you that weren't watching. Some very commanding drives in both races. English, also in contention, got very unlucky, especially in the feature race. But yeah. So it is Broughton who takes an early lead. Apex now, this is a bit difficult to commentate on, but we will work around it. Apex currently taking the lead for pole. English though jumping up to the lead, followed by, it was Dams 1-2 there for a moment, English and Salmon. It's all kinds of, well, it's every driver in contention for second at the moment. English maybe just pulling out that little bit bigger of a margin. Broughton and D numbers clearly running slightly more straight line speed focused cars, but that will compromise them in the corners. Leon's especially fighting his way back up to second, now that back down to fourth, third, Curly second. Apex remaining in 8th, fighting with Dorado and Broughton, 4th position. Broughton falling off quite majorly there. Let's see what the margin is with D numbers. That looks very close to him. D numbers out very wide, English not so much. Nice and tidy through the second sector for English. Will be interesting to see who cuts across the grass to the left there. Neither driver does it. Not sure if they've patched that, but it was something that was exploitable in previous games. Currently Carly third and English's teammate in the dam, Salmon, in fourth. The number's running out of time if he wants to pass English for the pole, which he has. English though takes it back at the very last moment. Will the numbers be able to get back in front? He does not. It is English who is the first. It's D numbers. Okay, we've had a bit of a delta thing there. But it's D numbers who is your first pole sitter of the season, taking it back at the very last moment by just over 2/10. English goes second. I didn't catch who was further down, but Salmon, I believe, will be in the top 5. Very good showing for Dams, of course. Formerly the two Williams drivers in Season 5. They won the Constructors title, so I'm sure they'll be out for, well, to do that once again. So it is D numbers who takes pole with a 37.8 for Van Amersfoort, followed by English for Dams. It's Curly and Finnell who split the two Dams cars, both driving for Virtuosi with a 38.3 and 38.4 respectively. And from there, it's Salmon, Impulse, Clover, Apex, and Broughton to round out your top 10, with Unku, Pixel, Sass, and Demon, and Rosenquist even, to round out your bottom 5. 15 drivers on the grid tonight as we get underway for our formation lap. Of course, the top 8 is reversed for the sprint race, with the results taken from top 10 reversed even. So it is Broughton who starts from pole, followed by his teammate of Eldorado. From there, it's Apex, Clover, Impulse, Salmon is leading Dams. The two virtuosos of Finnell and Carly split them, with English rounding out the top 9. From there, it's your actual pole sitter for the feature race, D numbers, setting the quickest time by 2/10 in qualifying, followed by Unku, Pixel, Sass, Demon, and Rosenquist, all in qualifying order. Be interesting to see what the tyre strategy is here. So there seems to be a lot of all cars on that white wall tyre. That is the hards for 11 laps. Clearly running some harder compounds here from Pirelli due to the tyre wear. I need to relearn what some of these cars are. I can tell you the Dams and the Virtuosis. I believe that is a Van Amersfoort for the numbers. Apex being the lead route over Unku. Of course, we have seen this drive pairing do very good things on the Force side. Constructors champions of the first Formula Velocity season, and Constructors champions of the first Formula 4 season. when they're together and when they get it right, they are a lethal combination. And as I say that, Unku spins on the formation lap. Thanks to thank commentators cast at its finest, and we're not even underway. Pixels and Sass, I say one of, quite literally, the longest running driver pairing in this league. Whenever they get the opportunity to be in a team, they are in a team together. They've run Aston Martin together, McLaren together, and now they are here running ART together. Always a great driver pairing to see, and great to have them back with us once again. It is Broughton who will... It's not Broughton who will lead us around the final corner. I think that's Clover who's jumped in front of him. But it is Broughton who will be the driver to lead us to the grid, slotting in nicely into that first position slot. Dorado behind, Sass gets disqualified. Just watching all these drivers pull in now. Quite a few disqualifications there. One for Dams, one for Virtuosi, one for ART. And that looks like everyone. Please give us a good camera angle. We'll go with this one. 5 lights. Very long hold. And we are away in Silverstone for round 1 of FVC2 Season 3. Apex immediately getting the jump into second there. Oh, and that is someone around that is Curly spiralling down the field. Yellow flag will be out, but no safety car dramas just yet. Dorado defending from Finnell. Finnell making up a lot of positions on that start. Right around the outside of Impulse. That was great. Oh, but contact with Impulse sends them both spinning. Is that Impulse? That might have been... Who was that? That must have been Pixels then. Okay. Back up to the top of the field. English already making moves up to 6th from his 9th place starting position. D Numbers into 5th. So D Numbers really getting the jump, but with English directly behind, this could be... Well, this could be an opportunity for a massive accident into Stowe if anyone looks for it. They don't, but there's some looks further back. Rosenquist on Clover. Everyone seems to have made it through cleanly. That is what you love to see. Of course, it is D Numbers and English. They are the two to watch this season. Your Season 5 title protagonists. D Numbers just clinching the title from English at the last moment in Bahrain. And it's Salmon from D Numbers from English. D Numbers going to have to work hard here to get past that other Dams car because they will be trying to work together. D Numbers and Salmon side by side. That's a little bit of contact with Salmon and D Numbers. That will let English get by. That is some beautiful defending from the two Dams cars as English makes a move on English. So D Numbers splits the two Dams cars as it stands. Broughton purple 44-5. Yellow flag is out. That is Rosenquist in trouble. D Numbers right around the outside of Salmon there as Apex makes the move on Broughton. Outside turns to the inside. That is absolutely fantastic, but Broughton is not done yet. Broughton will be looking to... sorry, Apex even. I cannot tell how to come apart apparently. Will be looking to try and make the move. Purple to the first sector as it stands. Gonna flag that once again. That is Unku who has had enough. That is the other Charouz car as Apex looks to the inside of Broughton. It's car number 1 and car 22, wheel to wheel. Broughton takes a much better exit as we run towards Cops for the 2nd time this season. And now it's the two Dams cars side by side, wheel to wheel. That is very close. Rosenquist has a spin, gets passed by Unku. These two are going to have to be careful because they do need to start pushing up towards D Numbers. And that is Sass, who has had a lot of trouble at Cops by the looks of things. Not sure how that carries out there, but has lost a wing. But up front, it's Apex and Broughton for the lead. Once again, Apex looking to the inside, won't quite get it done. Oh, almost has a half spin there. Does well to save it, but that will bring Dorado and D Numbers into this. Of course, the ex-Mercedes duo now driving for different teams, Prima and VAR respectively. Dorado just pushing past Apex. Apex fully struggling on tyres, but Apex ran the outside. Broughton purple, 41-1. D Numbers double move on... Well, double overtake even on both of them. That was absolutely fantastic. And that puts him into second. Once again, it's a commanding drive from D Numbers. That is what we have come to expect nowadays. He is... I don't even have the word. He is incredibly quick. Apex just having to back out the move there on Dorado, back into fourth. And once again, it's the two Dams cars trying to get past trying to get past Apex this time. Salmon looks to the inside, will think about the lunge, won't quite get it done. English also in contention, maybe struggling a little bit more in these F2 cars than his teammate. Side by side again for these two. Absolutely fantastic stuff. They're going to have to be very careful through Cops. Salmon closing on Apex. Won't be close enough to make a move, I don't think. Apex breaking a little bit earlier than Salmon intended there. I think that will let English get a little bit closer. As much as we do love a good battle here as Pixel spins, these two are going to have to be careful. We do not want to see the two dance cars come together after such a successful Williams campaign in Season 5 for them. English looking to the inside of his teammate, backs out of the move, won't go for it into Stowe. Apex slightly wide. Will English make the move this time? He will! Looks up to the inside. Let's see who gets ahead. It's Salmon for the moment. Broughton still leads us as D Numbers goes purple with a 40.2. It is absolutely nose to tails. Apex drives into the back of Dorado, looking to make the move. Dorado clearing a little bit earlier. That will let Salmon come right through. We'll have the outside line, but we should be able to take a better exit onto the first main straight. Or first major straight even of the lap. Apex currently stays ahead. But now it's the two dams looking to get past once again. Salmon closer this time round. Makes the move. Absolutely sends it. Dorado a little bit wide ahead. Probably can make the move, but we'll have to leave space for Apex. That lets English come by. Absolutely fantastic stuff here, but they're going to have to be very careful to not have an incident into Cops. It's the two dams cars side by side. English making the sensible decision of just tucking in behind there. Both cars getting a better run than Apex. Apex defending the inside. Brilliant stuff here from these drivers to be avoiding contact with each other as Salmon half spins. Keeps it out of the wall, but that is not what you want. And meanwhile, D Numbers on the back of Broughton will have DRS. Because we've seen Harrison M and D Numbers have some great battles into this corner in Season 1 of FVC2. D Numbers on the inside, Broughton hangs it right around the outside. Absolutely fantastic stuff from the drivers here today. Broughton holds the lead for the moment. D Numbers will be eager to get by as soon as possible. Yellow flags have come out. That would be for Curly, I believe. D Numbers clearly running a little bit less air than Broughton, I think, or just being a little bit more hesitant through the corners, maybe setting himself up for a DRS pass. 10.5 between these two. It's wheel to wheel. Broughton takes a slightly better exit. They seem to always get good exits in these cars in general, but it's D Numbers with DRS closing. Gap is under 2 tenths now. They do not go for the move, choosing to tuck in behind. Meanwhile, English looking to make a move on Apex does not have the assistance of his teammate now. He will have to do this himself. Tries to look around the outside, won't get it done, but will be able to take a better exit as we run towards Cops. Or maybe not, slightly has to hesitate there. And it's D Numbers looking possibly to make a move on Broughton. This would be an absolutely ballsy move. Goes to the inside! Almost 100%, but very clean between them. I don't think I've ever seen these two come together before. It's not I can remember. Because Broughton on his day can absolutely fight at the front. Once again, D Numbers looking to make the move for the lead. D Numbers to the inside as we run out of time for this lap. D Numbers takes the lead, but oh, half spin! Almost a full rotation there for the VAR car. That will allow Road to come through to a Kramer 1-2. Apex third, English fourth. Will Salmon be able to get by? Not quite. Salmon almost getting hit by Clover there. but that is not the kind of thing that D-Numbers want. I don't know if there was contact there. There might have been possibly running into the back of that Prima. Commentator's curse at its finest once again. So, it's English looking to displace Apex for that podium. Of course, Apex not with the greatest Season 5 campaign compared to most other seasons, but is looking to make a statement once again in these F2 cars. Does seem to prefer cars that run higher downforce. I think, well, both of us Aston Martins did struggle with that in Season 5. We like high downforce cars. We really struggled at tracks like Monza. D-Numbers looking to the inside of English, almost contact there, but he's just taking a slightly better run off than D-Numbers and a better run than Apex. Will he go for the inside into Stowe? Into competition? I don't think so, but it's D-Numbers looking to take the outside. Apex leads from English to D-Numbers. Numbers looking to make a move on English, just takes too much soft curve. That was not good for your floor, and it's not good for your racing line either. Might be setting up to take a better run through here onto the hangar straight. All kinds of moving. Apex really looking to defend the inside. English will be forced to go around the outside if he wants the place, and he does. He has a look, ends up backing out of it. Apex slower line. English with a beautiful move there. D-Numbers looking to make it 3 wide. He doesn't, but it's Apex again, still playing on to the end of that podium. English side by side now. Be careful, the sausage, it will spin you. Gets away with it this time. This is absolutely fantastic stuff here in the sprint race. It'll be interesting to see who has compromised for a wet setup for the feature. Also, you get a couple more points from scoring well there compared to here. It's English who sits behind Apex once again. Apex won't have DRS. English side by side now. But Apex just manages to pull ahead slightly. DRS now for English. Let's see what happens. Side by side. Almost contact with both drivers again, keeping it very clean. English having to look right around the outside of Apex. Apex doing a wonderful job at defending from these two drivers here. So I can tell you from my own experience, especially in Season 4, when Apex doesn't want you to get by, it is difficult to do. There'll be English who leads into Stowe, and it's a huge catastrophe! All kinds of contact, that sends D-Numbers sideways, Salmon into 4th, and it's Apex who gets away. Not sure what happened now, I think it's a little bit too close running to Cops. But this is not the race that D-Numbers would have wanted. It was a very strong start, fighting his way into the contention for the lead. Now down in 8th after 2 spins. Clover now on the back of English. It's a damned 4-5, but Clover looking to displace that. Clover very wide. English just managing to hang on to that 5th position for the moment. Clover to the inside. English right around the outside. Lovely way to defend the position there. Once again, Carly encountering problems. And D-Numbers looking to get back past Impulse. Getting very close to Apex there, but doesn't make the move. Not sure if that car has damage. If he looked to back off a little bit more through turn 1 especially. And just 2.5 tenths behind Apex now. This is still the relative final podium position in English. Well, if Salmon fights Apex too much, English will be back in this fight, and it will be 2 dams and 1 Charouz. Salmon closing the gap, won't be close enough to make a move into Cops. D-Numbers just getting past Impulse there through Cops. Very ambitious move, but needs to be done. Needs to recover as many points as he can if he wants to be in this title fight. Salmon with DRS closing on Apex. Won't be close enough to go for a move. Apex doing a masterful job at defending this podium. Salmon thinking about this side, won't quite get it done. Almost runs into the back of that Shrew. That is not what you want. Gotta protect the front wing in these because you've not got that floor doing much work for you. Half a second between them now. Apex seems to be pulling a slight gap. That is good for his podium, but English really closing in on these two, has halved the gap in just over a lap. Apex just gets that slightly better exit. Apex really able to maximize the exits in these cars. It is good to see him back up fighting at the front. 2 cents between the two now. Apex wide. This might be Salmon's best opportunity to make the move. Backs out of it, clearly favouring a pass down the hangar straight, maybe waiting for English to come in so they both attack Apex at once. But Prainer at the moment absolutely cruising to victory. Salmon looks inside of Apex, is not wasting any more time. Side by side for these two. It's Apex who stays ahead, but it's not a lot between them. Salmon looks to the inside, will go for the lunge. Contact! That is heartbreaking for Salmon. Falling down to 17. Numbers comes back passing to make a move on Clover. English goes purple, 40.5. D Numbers responds with a 40.1. D Numbers could very well still be in this podium fight. Three-tenths between these two for the final podium place. Let's see who can make it stick. English, 10.5 between them, looks to the inside, makes the move, slight contact there, it's wheel to side pod. Right around the outside of Apex. Apex will have the opportunity to go back on the inside, but that is a masterful move from English and firmly cements him ahead of D Numbers for the remainder of this race. Meanwhile, it's Clover from D Numbers from Salmon for 5th. All drivers currently scoring points, but you want as many as you can, especially with such a short calendar. Any mistake is really amplified and will send a shockwave for your results. D Numbers with a much nicer exit from Maggots Beckett's complex there than Clover. Will get a much nicer run, and with the DRS, it's an easy pass. Clover will be looking to the inside, but just won't be close enough to make anything stick. In the background, you saw Salmon having a look on Clover, but it was not close enough to happen. Now, D Numbers sets his sight on Apex, but it's not quite going to happen as they come through to lap Pixels. Pixels and Sass not having the greatest start to the season that they would want, but they've got a lot of time to bounce back and a feature race that will be chaotic. That was a half spin for someone, I'm not sure who. That looked like Pixels. And it is D Numbers who has found his way up into 5th. That might have been Clover who half spun there, actually. Coming through to lap Pixels now. I would hazard a guess and say English is safe, but D Numbers will be starting from pole in the feature race. Meanwhile, for 9th, Finnell is close to Demon. Half a second separate them. Finnell just using that track much, much more. Gap is closing, could be looking to make a move into Cops. Your last real chance to get something done. Ultimately stayed away from making the move. But Finnell still very close as we enter Maggots and Beckett's. Meanwhile, Apex falling down to 7th has now been passed by Salmon. I'm not sure what's gone on there. It could have been Apex that we saw half spinning out, well, half spinning through the first sector. I really don't know. But up front, it is Broughton who draws first blood this season with a sprint win and leads home a 1-2 for Prema. The last time I can think of that happening in this league was the Summer Series for McLaren last year. It's English third for Dams, D Numbers fourth for VAR, Clover for Trident, Salmon coming home for the other Dams in sixth. Impulse leads the two Campos cars in seventh, Apex being your final point scorer for Charouz in 8th, followed by Demon 9th, Finnell 10th. It'll be Unku who comes home 11th, with Sass and Pixels with a cemented 14th and 15th. Curly coming in to box for the softs towards the end of the race. Whilst, yeah, it's good to get you to the end of this race, it does compromise your strategy for the feature slightly. But if it's correct and it is a wet race, takes the best lap point with the 39.5. If it is a wet race, that will not be too important. Last car to the line will be Rosenquist in 13th. That was an absolutely fantastic race. The numbers takes driver of the day. That is fair. P10 to P1, well, P10 to P2 to P7 to P4? Absolutely fantastic stuff. And it is Broughton who ascends the top step of the podium. Fantastic stuff from Prema, and a great statement of intent for what is to come. Didn't qualify well, but absolutely made the best of the race. Right from D numbers there, it's P10 to P1 to P6 to P5 to P8 to P4. That is absolutely mad. Takes the, well, accredited best lap, 40.1, but it is Broughton who leads with a 1-2 for Prema. Those two best lap times very similar. I think we're going to see some good stuff from them this season. English rising to third after starting 9th for Dams, followed by D Numbers, Clover, Salmon, Impulse, Apex, Demon, and Finnell to round out your top 10. And from there, it was Unku, Curly, Rosenquist, Sass, and Pixels. The ARTs just coming to last places. Not what they'd want to see, but they've got a lot of time to turn it around. So we get underway for our formation lap, and in qualifying order it is D Numbers who takes pole, followed by English, Curly, Finnell, and Salmon for your top 5. Someone's been through the 150 board there. 6th down went to Impulse, Clover, Apex, the two Premas of Dorado and Broughton in 9th and 10th after winning the sprint race. And behind them it's Unku, Pixel, Sass, Demon, and Rosenquist, the last two having confirmed incidents in qualifying. I think we're in for a great race. Of course, the rain, you know, not a lot of drivers are going to be able to take that experience that they gained in the sprint race. It's a completely different ball game. You know, if I was in these driver positions, I would be just trying to drive the cars as quick as I could get away with, find where the grip is, find where it isn't, maybe tweak the differential slightly. Just find out what the car is going to want from this. I believe all cars will be starting on the wet tyre. I don't know why they wouldn't be, but we might as well check. Yeah, but it's all cars on the wet. And this could be a no-stop race if someone is feeling bold. I think we will see a variety of strategy going switching between one stops and no stops. I probably would try and make the no stop. But I really don't know how these cars are on tyres, and going by everyone starting on the hard for the sprint race, not great. Oh, that is someone sideways there. That is Impulse and Curly getting together. That is not what you want in a race like this. The numbers though seems to be suffering from a few connection issues. I believe that's the only car that's jumping around a bit more. To be fair, I think he's just very good at warming the tyres. Must be on a wheel. Someone's shoots up a fully. They're not entirely sure who. But someone is shot past him, and it's all kind of ghostly nightmares. Well, it should be Ninja Numbers that leads us to the line, but I think it's Apex who is actually leading us to the line. Starting 8th. I think D-Numbers has got back ahead now, so we will jump on board with him. Pulls up nicely into that pole position grid slot. Good parking there. Curly gets disqualified. English slots in. So, the stage is set for 15 laps of racing here in Silverstone. 5 lights. No good camera angles. We will stay on board with D-Numbers. Once again, it's a long hold. And we are away. D-Numbers getting a good start there. English immediately bogging down. Finnell into the lead. An absolute flying start. Cut. D-Numbers fighting. A lot of cars out wide there. Someone is sideways. That might have been English and I want to say Apex getting together. D-Numbers holding on to his lead after momentarily losing it to Finnell. Broughton just... Whoa. That might be around my end. Salmon gets 5 into the corner cutting and gaining a place. That is not what Dan's need in this race. Broughton already up to 3rd, run up to 5th. The two Primus have started very well. Broughton immediately dispatching a Finnell there in the Virtuosi. Just getting that move on. Wants to get closer to D-Numbers. Two Virtuosis running 3rd and 4th. The two Dan Stars have not had the start that he would have wanted. Clover on the back of Demon won't be looking to make the move into Cox. It's Apex and Rosenquist side by side. Apex going around the outside, but it's all kinds of contact behind. Unku involved, I think Impulse as well. Apex very wide, almost as if he'd lost a wing. I don't think he has though. Currently Clover on the back of Demon for 7th, 3 tenths between the two. Demon just taking a much nicer exit from the complex. Further back, it's all kinds of for 11th. We see Sass off the track. That allows Impulse through. Rosenquist willing to make the result, but it's 3-1. Oh! Unku, Sass and Rosenquist coming together. That is Unku without a wing. Rosenquist very sideways. Apex without a wing into the back of Sass. It's carnage at the back of the field. No safety car has been called just. No, virtual safety car has been called after that one. So, after an absolutely hectic first lap in the rain, it is D-Numbers who leads from Broughton, from Finnell, from Curly, Dorado. Salmon takes a 5-second. Demon, Clover, English, Pixels, Impulse, Apex, Sass, Rosenquist, and Unku. Rosenquist and I believe Apex both in the pit lane for new wings, understandably so. Delta must be quite bad through here. A lot of drivers going very slowly. You want to keep heating these tyres is the thing. Sass takes a drive through speeding under VSC, clearly adopting that from Pixels, and we are underway as Clover immediately making a move on Demon there. Not sure if it was lead, but I assume it was. He's not looking to give the place back. Now, Broughton has gained 3 tenths throughout that safety car section, but D-Numbers clearly running a little bit more aero than the Prima driver. 4 tenths between them. I think this will be the battle to watch. D-Numbers and Broughton for the title would not be a fight I would be complaining about. Of course, Season 1 champion of D-Numbers, Season 2 champion of Broughton. It's going to be great to see these two have a fight in cars they're unfamiliar with. Gap is closing as D-Numbers takes a much better exit from the complex. Broughton's getting slightly offline, could be akin to that lack of downforce. But that English making a flick move on Demon, falls to the left hand side of that car. No DRS assistance here, so it is whoever has the least aero and whoever made the best off the slipstream. Looks to the inside quite tentatively, but makes a lovely move there for the position. D-Numbers goes back with a 2:02.0. Of course, that's not quite indicative of the pace these cars are running at due to that virtual safety car we saw early in the race. Impulse 2013. Be interested to see if Unku can beat that. They do with a 159.0. Yellow flag for Rosenquist, clearly having some issues out of the Magnus Becker's complex. English now making his way up to the back of Clover. 3.5 tenths separate the pair. Clover just getting a much better run. Yellow flags for Rosenquist. They do not take the car into the pit lane, and it's the two Charouz cars. Is it Charouz? No, it's Campos cars trading position there. Impulse into 9th, Demon down to 10th. But up front, it is Broughton who is closing on D-Numbers again. Of course, they took a commanding sprint victory, 2.5 tenths between the two now. This fight is absolutely not over. Three tenths between the pair now. Let's see who can make a move. 4 tenths between the pair. Will Broughton be able to claim some of that speed back? They will. Gap is closing. The sub 3 tenths won't be close enough this time, but he might be able to make it happen next time. English closing on Clover. Tenth between the two. English looks inside, won't quite get it done. Clover goes wide though, leaves the space. That is lovely for English. That is a great place to put the car into. Doesn't quite get as good an exit. We'll have to go around the outside to try and take the position from Clover. It doesn't happen. Broughton, the numbers probably very quickly by Broughton. 56.4 and 56.3 respectively, I believe there. English does get past Clover for position. Impulse 56.1. It's still side by side for English and Clover. Impulse also in this fight. English right around the outside of Clover, who has to start off the track, possibly a half spin there. He did not quite be able to catch what happened. Broughton now, contact with D-Numbers for the lead. Did not realise that they'd be close enough this time. D-Numbers holding on to the lead around the outside for now, but this could be a brilliant opportunity for Broughton this lap. They've got Cox, they've got Stowe. And by the looks of things, it's going to happen before either of those corners. Holds around the outside, takes the place nicely. D-Numbers looks to the inside. Rosenquist retires in the... No, Rosenquist has spun it out the final corner. Full safety car is deployed as Broughton takes the lead from D-Numbers. That is perfect timing there for the Prima driver. But it does give D-Numbers a good opportunity to get back past on the restart. So, 1/3 of the way into this race, and it is Broughton who takes the lead off D-Numbers, followed by the Virtuosi pair of Finnell and Curly in 3rd and 4th. So it's the other Prima in 5th. Finished 2nd in the sprint. We'll be looking to try and make up a few more positions on this restart. It's a great opportunity to. But 6th and 7th are the two to watch. The Dams pairing. Awful start to this race. But they have been working on pulling it back, and they've been pulling it back very well. Salmon might be coming into the serve. That 5 second would be good to get it cleared. If I was Salmon, I probably would come in and get it cleared. Let's see what they do. Dorado into something. Quite a few drivers into something actually. D-Numbers, one of them. Finnell, one of them. Broughton staying out. Curly also staying out. Salmon in as well. Salmon and English in. Oh, this is awful coordination at Dams. Both the Campos cars in as well. Unku takes 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. That is not what they want. Be interesting if Apex comes in as well, but that's a vast majority of the field boxing, and they're all staying on wets, which is clearly favouring that fresh rubber. You can see Dams double stacking. That's heartbreaking for English with Salmon's penalty. Effectively applies to him as well. Apex does come in as does Sass. So your top two, Broughton and Curly, are the only cars not to box. A bold choice from the pair, but I think I would have done the same. We don't know what those tyres are like, is the thing. It'd be quite interesting to get some data on that. I might ask Broughton. Very interesting choice from Broughton here to stay out, but I think I would be on the same. I think you're saving wear under the safety car, and if your tyre wear isn't too bad, which it evidently isn't, I think you've got a good opportunity to get away with it. Broughton saying the tyres are holding up better than the start. That is very interesting to hear. I'm not think it's a very risky call. I think I definitely would have done the same in that situation. I think you've got a lot. I think round one, I think it's worth risking it because you've got 5 races for the fact if it doesn't work. And whilst yes, you're giving your rival, while you're giving your rival a 10-20% advantage on tyres, you're putting cars between you, and I think that's very important at this stage, especially at this stage in the race. Broughton is the quicker car, and from what I'm hearing, is now more comfortable on the tyres. I think Broughton has made the right call here. It'll be interesting to see what D Numbers thinks. So D Numbers might be comfortable on a fresher tyre. I haven't driven these cars, I don't know how the tyres handle. All I can do is observe and go off what I'm being told. The 1 or 2 more laps under the safety car here. So, as the grid begins to calculate once again, it is Broughton who leads from Curly, who leads from D Numbers, the first car to make a change for new tyres. It's very interesting to see the difference in pace between these cars. I don't think it'll be much, but come the end of the race, it could be very important. Final in 4th to bring up a Virtuosi 2-4, followed by Broughton to bring up a Primo 1-5. Clover for Trident holds 6th, with Salmon in 7th for Dams after serving a 5-second penalty, which affected his teammate OJ English, who falls down to 11th. Impulse is the lead Campos car, followed by Pixels, who is the lead LT, and Unku, who is the lead Charouz? Yeah, Charouz. It's English, the second Dams, Demon, I don't know if I can remember car names, the second Campos, and Apex, the second Charouz. God, I cannot do car names today, apparently. And it is Sass who brings up the back of the field, the second ART. Hang on, there's a pattern there. I'm going to screenshot that. It's quite interesting. I think there's a pattern in there. Yeah, there is. Is there? No. Apex and Unku. I can't have the words. Pixels and Unku, can you swap so I can get a cool photo? That's a nice pattern. Thank you. English, very something censored for you. I can guess what that word says, but yeah, it's been a really unfortunate race so far. You've got 7-8 laps. You've got, 7 laps to bring it back. You've got time, but you're gonna have to be absolutely ruthless. I think in your position, I would have stayed out. But if you felt the tyres weren't going to the end, then it's a fair call to play. Or it's a fair. We're gonna go with that because I'm struggling to English today, apparently. I'm going to go and run and get some water quickly, so 2 moments. So, lap 7 of 15, we get the call. The safety car will be in this lap. That is a lap 8 safety car restart. There will be 7 laps left to fight for the lead. Be very interesting to see how these tyres play out. So, Broughton is free to go whenever they would like to. Doesn't go yet. Continues back uphill, keeps a reasonable speed, and has gone! Curly very close, D numbers also very close. We are green in Silverstone. D numbers really going to struggle to see through the spray. But, oh, almost runs into the back of Curly there, goes up the inside. Just has to back off a little bit though. This could be a good opportunity to Finnell to make a move as Dorado looking to defend and Clover 5th, but Clover gets a much better run. That is fantastic. Broughton almost pulling a second on Curly already. Absolutely masterful strategic play in my opinion. I think this has worked out very well for him. The numbers finally looking to the inside of Curly, but won't be able to make the move. Might have to do it into Cops. It's a very risky play to do it, especially in these conditions. Gets a better run, but Curly is going to be there on the outside. Curly keeps it round. One slightly off the circuit, but you can afford to push that a little bit more. The two virtuosos now will be fighting for third as the numbers convincingly takes the position. English already up into 9th behind his Dams teammate. They will have to make some moves. Finnell and Curly side by side for Virtuosi. Finnell takes it just before the corner. Curly backing off, letting Finnell go ahead as the quicker driver, I'd say. Dorado defending for 6th against Impulse now. Might be trying on the entire Salmon sent it in way too late into 5th. Broken wing for someone there. That is Salmon missing the right side end plate. Pixel 3 taking for corner cutting. At this point, the Dams cars need to swap position. Salmon is compromised. English has the better wing. They need to swap. Impulse now joining this battle as well. This is compromising too much. They need to get those cars in front of each. They need to get one car in front of the other. Impulse looking to make a move. That Salmon is compromised. English needs to get by. They have to swap. I think they have to swap. They're only costing themselves a better result. Is now Impulse looking around the outside of English. It's not impossible that English does have damage, but at least visually it looks like Salmon is in a much more compromised car. Impulse inside of English. Once again, English also a touch contempt in Season 5 at one point. Taking a win in Austria, beating out English. Takes a much better run than both the Virtual Dams cars. Looking around the outside of the compromised car into Cops. That's a bit of an interesting idea. Goes round it though. English looking to make it 3 wide. Oh, contact between the two Dams cars. They have come together. English takes the position, but that is not what Dams want this early in the season. Oh, the dynamic duo from Williams breaking apart. Beamer now looking to make a move on Unku for 11th. 2 tenths between them, but 1 tenth between Unku and Salmon. Salmon must be boxing soon, surely. Going to be losing a lot of points with that wing. It's English into pit lane. He has losing that left side end plate, so it's Broughton who goes pole with a 55.4. Salmon who stays out with that compromised car. It is absolute disaster for Dams. Let's have some Virtuosos come together. If I did, it was the Dams, not the Virtuosos. I apologise. Broughton continuing to pull out this gap on D numbers. 1.2. Looking a little bit shaky through that corner. Yeah, it's tough English. I mean, me and Apex came together at Spa. These things happen, but you can come back stronger next week, but you've got to do something. As things are, something has to change. Meanwhile, Clover and Curly battling for fourth. Clover having a look but won't quite get it done. Clover, much better run towards Cops. Will he be brave enough? No, backs out of the move. Not willing to come together. Meanwhile, Apex. Oh, I assume Dorado has gone up to the inside of Apex. That is absolutely fantastic. Apex just touching the back of Dorado there, it looks like. No damage to either car and no spins, but must have been a little bit terrifying for both of them. Much better run off the corner there for Apex as we went towards Stowe. And that is Dorado with his damaged car. Dorado gets back on the inside of Apex, but will presumably taking the car into the pit lane does not. Will choose to stay out and fight for the position. I suppose you need as many points as you can get. Dorado makes the move on Apex as Salmon makes the move on Unku. It's the Giroux car starting to take the leading position, but Apex continues to fight it. Has the inside for turn 1. Stays ahead for turn 2 by a couple of tenths. Dorado really struggling with that compromised car, especially through that first sector. You really need that pointed front end to make it work, as D Numbers has taken a tenth out of Broughton. Or has he? I think there's been a half spin there, because that car lost 4 tenths very quickly. Impulse looking to make a move on the inside of Unku. Unku keeps it round the outside for the moment. Will have the inside for the next corner, but will Impulse be able to get the better drive? Not quite round the outside. Gets that move done nice and tidily long before Cops. Demon starting to close in on Unku slightly. Broughton purple 55.2, Finnell purple 55.0. New fastest car on track, Apex 54.7. Could we see... Hang on. What? How was D Numbers as close half a second to Broughton last time we checked? 3 more tenths still. Is Broughton struggling on those tyres? No, pulls out the gap again nicely. Maybe compromising corner entry to get a good exit. But Finnell now, very close to D Numbers. Things are shifting quite dynamically up here at the front. Three and a half tenths between the two now. Could we see Finnell displacing? Oh, that was almost... oh. I got scared and I wasn't even driving the car. I can't imagine what that must have felt like for Finnell. Could we see Finnell displacing FVC2's first ever champion? Fourth position here. And as things stand, Virtuosi could be a very prominent force in this title fight, at least in the constructors. And Fiddle maybe even jumping in for the drivers. It's been an incredibly strong showing so far. 3 cars all in contention for the lead, and any of them could take it. Broughton playing to the biggest disadvantage on paper, but we don't know how those tyres handle. Sometimes, and I do agree with this sometimes, tyres do feel a little bit better when they're worn, especially in this game. Impulse looking to make a move on Salmon. Hazard looks inside, won't get it done this time, might get it done on the exit, won't quite. Clearly suffering from Munster there on those tyres, but will be able to close the gap to the dams quite significantly. Loses the rear end a little bit, won't be able to capitalise off it as much as he would like. Finnell getting closer and closer to the numbers with every passing lap, but catching is one thing, passing is another. But I think if Finnell is able to make the pass stick on the numbers here, it's, you know, really putting himself up there as a title contender. Half a second separate the two now. Meanwhile, Clover closing on the other Virtuosi for 4th. It's Clover having to turn out of the corner. Will be losing some time from that down the straight. And Finnell is definitely a threat to the numbers here. It's always nice to see fresh faces come through. And I think Finnell will certainly be one to watch over the course of this game. And if not, and if he's not fighting for the title here, there's a good chance he'll be fighting for it in the Summer Series. I think I myself will have my eye on him, especially in the opening few rounds. .9 separating our top 3. Let's see if anyone can make it stick. Three and a half tenths closest Finnell's ever been. Purple to the first sector. Finnell absolutely making inroads on that Van Amersfoort car. .5 now separating them. There is absolute potential here for Finnell to take the position on the final lap. What a story that would be. .6.5, but that gap will come down. Finnell, I think, running the highest downforce of the top 3. Let's see what he can do. Apex disconnects from 6th. We'll have the margin though, 7 seconds. I don't think... It's Finnell. Purple, 54.5. And if I was the numbers right now, I would be absolutely terrified. Finnell is coming, and Finnell is here. Your third confirmed title protagonist for this season, looking to displace a former champion. 8 tenths between the pair now, 6 tenths, 5 tenths, 4 tenths, 3 tenths. The number 3 string on next, it's 2 tenths now. This could be a move into Cox. if I were D numbers, I would be absolutely watching my mirrors. Half a second between the pair now. That will keep falling. 3.5. 3. 2.5. Has a think about the inside. Won't go for it yet. Absolutely nothing on the table at this point. 3/10 between the pair. Finnell is well and truly here. Four and a half tenths between them now. D numbers also closing in on Broughton. It's just 1.1 to separate our top three. Will we see any last minute moves of desperation as we run out of time in the feature race? We will not. Now just a second between them all. D numbers very close. We run to the line once again in a season opener for FVC2. It's Broughton who narrowly takes the win, followed by D numbers and Finnell, just 4/10. Just half a second splitting your top three. Finnell going purple right at the end there once again. Carly for Virtuosi brings home a 3-4, followed by Clover, Apex, Dorado, Salmon, Impulse, and Unku. Demon comes by next, displaces them for 10th. Final points. Pixels next for 12th. And then that'll be followed by English, who had a very unfortunate race. And is that more damage on that car? It is. They might have had a spin somewhere, or it just didn't get repaired. And last but not least, it will be SAS for ART. And I would like to say, what an opener we have just had. If the rest of the season is like that, we are in for an absolutely titanic title fight. 5/10, splitting the top three. This is going to be a good season, I can tell you that now. Apex gets driver of the day, that is fair enough. Well, at least going by the game. But it is Broughton who once again stands on the top step of the podium, followed by D numbers and Finnell. I think we're in for an absolutely fantastic fight. So, it's Broughton who once again takes the win, 2 for 2 here at Silverstone. Started 10th, comes home to win by just under 2/10. 3/10 from D numbers. It's Finnell for Virtuosi who to round out the podium. All three drivers here will be part of this title fight. Carly, for the other Virtuosi, comes home 4th with Clover in 5th for Trident. From there, it's Apex 6th, Dorado 7th, and Salmon 8th for Dams, and the two campuses 9th and 10th. Unku 11th, Pixels 12th, English 13th after a catastrophic feature race. Not how he would want to start his season, but he's still got 8 races, 10 races even, to bring that back. It's SAS for ART and Rosenquist, your only DNF of the night for MP Motorsport.